Hello, thank you for watching another THS Car Confessions. This is a story from last night, and I have a little confession at the end of the story about why I didn't tell it last night. So I had a writer who messaged me ahead of time, and the message said, "Please call me when you arrive. I can't see." So I had previously had a blind customer, and so I was working in my head how I dealt with that one, and knowing to, when I do call, ask if she needs any assistance, do whatever I can to make it easy, right? So I arrive, I see that she's across the street, and I call her, and she says, she describes where she's at. I tell her I can see her. She has a dog with her. I tell her to wait. I'm going to make a U-turn and come over onto the side that she's on so that it's safer for her to get into the car. Now, as I was driving over there, it struck me that instead of saying I'm blind, she said I can't see. So that was kind of running through my head like, is there a preference? So next time I go to Tops, I'm going to ask our friend Marcia, who is also blind, if there's a preference, or I don't know. It just seemed interesting to me. So I make the U-turn. The woman and her dog gets in the car. I can't remember what the dog's name was, but it stood for church in some other language, whatever the dog's name was. Super cute. Now, another thing is, in my head, I'm thinking, I'm going to say something about her dog. I'm going to say something about Marcia, because Marcia has the awesomest dog, little Nico. She had another dog before her. So I'm familiar with the service dogs, and I always want to pet them, but I know you don't unless you ask, whatever. So they're in the back seat. I'm not going to pet the dog, obviously. But in my head, I'm wanting to, tell her about Marcia. But then I think, how many times have you, had an issue or an illness or something where somebody else then says, oh, me too, or they try to tell you about something bigger or whatever. So I'm all like, this lady probably hears every time she runs into a stranger, oh, I have a blind friend too, something like that. So I'm not going to do that to her. I'm not going to put any pressure on her that way. That's weird, even though I'm thinking all this. So on the way, I see that we're going to a place called El Prado. Now in my head, I'm thinking of a place in our Balboa Park that's a restaurant. So I ask her, oh, are you going out to dinner? And she says, no. Is that what it says where it says I'm going? Did I put in the wrong place? I said, I don't know. I said, it's a big place, so, maybe it's somewhere near there. So she tells me she's going to a choir practice. It's only the second time she's gone to this choir practice. And the first time she went, she kind of got a little lost, and a couple helped her. So the way she was describing to me where she needed to be, I thought I knew where she needed to be. She must have changed the address, because next thing I know, we're going to behind the Space Theater, which is also in Balboa Park. Then she mentions to me Village Place or Village Way. And I'm like, oh, is that by Spanish Village, which is a really cute little artsy area in Balboa Park. They have stores and people who do artwork and all sorts of neat stuff. And she says, yeah, that sounds familiar. I said, okay, I'm going to ignore where you have me going, and I'm going to go over by Spanish Village, and we'll try to figure out if where I think you need to be is where you really need to be. So come to find out, yes, exactly where I thought she needed to be. So I got as close to it as I could, but you can't drive on all the streets in Balboa Park. So I explained to her, you'll need to get out of the car, quick left, quick right. She said, hopefully the dog will remember what room they need to go into, because she hadn't taken anyone's name or phone number, so no one could come out to assist her. So she gets out. Good. I have another ride lined up, not too far in another place in Balboa Park. But as I turn around, I hear a really tiny sound that says rerouting. And I'm thinking, she left her phone in the car. What am I going to do? So I turn back around, look in my car. No, she didn't forget it. It must have been my own phone making a quiet noise. So she got where she wanted. I got the next ride. All is good. Now, I'll have to tell you the story about the other blind person I had, because that's actually a very interesting story, but I'll save it for another time. So my confessions are twofold. One is, I didn't video this last night because my rosacea which I have suffered with all my life, but it seems to be getting worse as I get older, was just on fire last night. And I was embarrassed to have a big red face and big red nose when I made this video. Now, I know I probably shouldn't have, and I might get comfortable with it, but for now yeah, I don't like it. The second confession is my friend Marcia, who is in TOPS. TOPS stands for Take Off Pounds Sensibly. Yvonne and I have belonged to this organization for a long time, trying to get control of our weight issues. But Marcia, like I said, is blind, and she asked me if I could call her maybe once a week or once a month when the new TOPS News, which is a magazine, comes out, and read her some of it. I told her I would. That was 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't done it. I have to admit, I am good on ideas and good on promising people stuff. I'm a little lacking sometimes in the follow-through, so that's something I need to work on. So as soon as I'm done here, going in the house, got to give Marcia a call. Really glad you guys are watching us. If you like what you see, please subscribe. We love sharing these stories, and we want to hear back from you guys. So hit the like if you like it. Leave a comment if you have a question or just want to add something to the stories we tell. Thank you so much. Bye.